Hi, I'm Laura Washington. I'm with Treleaf, and I'm here to show you how to make your DIY ornaments for the holidays. It makes a great gift for kids. They can give the gift for an adult after they've gone ahead and finished this project, or you can give it as a gift to just go ahead and let somebody else finish. It's a lot of fun. It's very simple, and kids of any ages, grown-ups of any ages can make these projects. The kit is going to contain nearly all of what you'll need for this project. You will need to bring to the project a cup of warm water, teaspoons, and your imagination with colors. So here's the kit, and it's going to come something like this. Inside, you will find the instructions. You will find a paintbrush, ribbon, your baby bear, and two opposite patterns. The patterns are going to be the same, or they should be close to the same on each side, but they are definitely geared to only match one side of your ornament. For instance, you will know if you put it on correctly, it'll line up. If you put it on incorrectly, it won't line up. Inside this tin canister, you will find powdered glue, okay? So that it doesn't take a whole lot for this project, but we have to be careful when mixing it, because if you put too much water in it, then it gets too runny, then it might not work properly. That's why you'll need to bring just some tablespoons. It doesn't even have to be like baking tablespoons, just a spoon to just measure small amounts of water to add at a time. To start the project, we have everything laid out for us. We're gonna take the powdered adhesive here, and we're gonna just add some water. Now, this is warm water. It doesn't have to be hot, but cold water doesn't work very well with this project. If you're working with kids, obviously you want to use less hot water. And we're going to fill it up just below that very first line in the tin cup here. I'm going to start with 1 and 2 and give it a stir. And you can see it's already starting to clump up, but I don't think I added enough water just yet. So I'm going to add another teaspoon and give it another stir. It's going to become a slime-like consistency, except sticky. It's very sticky. It's going to become kind of like a paper mache decoupage substance. I'm going to add 1 more teaspoon. Keep mixing it. I think I'm going to add 1 more teaspoon. And this is all kind of estimated, but we want to add small amounts of water at a time. We don't want to oversaturate it and then have it be too runny. I think we're about ready. Okay, so what we're looking for, the consistency is kind of this gel kind of look. It's got a little bit of clumps in it, but that's really not going to be a problem. But this is almost the exact consistency that we're looking for. And we'll get started with the painting. This part's fun. All the water we need. But now that I have this here, I'm going to use this just to keep my paintbrush a little bit wet. Go ahead and take it and just kind of spread it on there. Now we're going to make sure that all these clumps don't stay on here, but I think they will actually blend with the paper once we get the paper on there. So once we've got this entirely wet with the glue, and you can see it, you can see just in the light that I've covered all of it. Then you take the paper and make sure you get the right paper, because like I said before, this is the wrong side and it will adhere funny and it will ruin the project if you get the wrong size paper or the wrong paper. That one's for the back. So then you just put it on there. It's flexible enough that it'll give you time to center it properly, and you can move it around if you need to. Now your hands might get a little sticky, but that's okay. And you can see I still have clumpy glue there, but that's okay. Now I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to do another layer on top of that. Super simple, super fun, super sticky. And we're going to put a generous layer on here. This is going to make sure that the paper gets wet enough to just adhere to the glue on the back, and that you have a nice glossy finish when you're done. And all these little extra, you can just stick your paintbrush through and get out of there. That's really not a big deal. So now you can see the sheen on here that I have covered the entire thing with a generous layer of the adhesive. So when you're done with this on both sides and it's dried, it's gonna look something like this. We're not quite there yet. So now we do the other side. And you can see that there's already some of the adhesive that's come through. That's just fine. So we're gonna do exactly the same thing on the other side. With these kind of projects, I think the messier the better, especially with little kids. Now with kids, you obviously wanna make sure that you have some kind of newspaper or cloth or something down on the table so that it doesn't spill, but this is a natural product. So if it does spill on a regular dining room table or on a piece of furniture, it should come off very easily just with a washcloth or a wet paper towel, because this is a natural biodegradable adhesive. It's nothing fancy, so it'll come off very easily if you forget to put down any kind of drop cloth. There we go. We've got that ready. We take the next piece of paper. We just put it on. We can center it, moving it gently, like so. And then we take more adhesive. And I suppose you could take, once this dries, you could take another layer of this on there. That's going to be a personal choice, whether it's necessary or not. It's up to you. It's probably not necessary. However, if you wanted to just make absolutely certain, you could put 2 layers of this on. Or you could just put one thick layer the first time and it will work just fine. You could even take a toothpick, if you have one, to just clean out these little holes. But I think once the product is a finished product, you won't even notice those. So there is how you adhere the paper to the ornament. Now we let it dry. You can put it in the sunshine. You can put it, just set it down somewhere. What I have done before is I've gone ahead and put the tie on and just hung it somewhere to let it dry. But you can also just balance it somewhere, leave it alone and let it dry. It'll probably take 30 minutes to an hour to where you could go ahead and start coloring on it. But to be safe, you might wait a couple of hours, maybe even overnight, just depending. If there's a lot of glue, then overnight might be better. But on some of these, I was able to go ahead and start working on the coloring part within an hour because I had them lying on top of a glass like this in the sunlight. So you may have glue left over. A little bit of the glue goes a long way. So we're finished with that one. It's drying now, and I have lots of glue left over. You can use this for other different projects if you want to. I actually left out the glue overnight, and it was still in its same form, sticky, and it hadn't dried out. I don't know how long it would take to dry out, but if you wanted to use it for other projects, you can, or you can just be done with it. But we're gonna go ahead and color now. This is what it will look like next once it's dry. And you can go ahead and color however you like. It can be paint, it can be markers. On these finished products, I used Sharpies. I had some thin Sharpies or thin felt tip Sharpies. And on this one, I did trace with a black pen the outlines of it once I'd colored it in. With this one, I hadn't. So you'll use your own medium of colors to go ahead and finish these off. It can be paint, it can be markers. On these, I believe I used some thin Sharpies and just whatever kind of pattern you want to color it in. But we'll go ahead and get started. This is one of the fun parts. Once you've already done one part of the project, then you have part number 2, where you just color. This is the part where I need my glasses. And you just color however you want to, following the pattern. You can make it black and white, you can make it all kinds of different colors. It's completely up to you. You get 2 projects in one because you've got the decoupage part of it, and then after that's dry, you get to color it. And see, here's what I mean by outlining it. It's really nice the way it is, but I can also just make it pop a little bit. And this can take as long or as short as you'd like. You can color as much of it, you can color all of it, or just some parts of it. It looks really good when it's just when you leave kind of some of the white coloring in it as well, where you color in some of the pieces but not all of them, but that's up to you. Now I'm going through this rather quickly just to show you how it works. If I were doing this for myself, I'd probably go a little bit slower and a little bit more carefully. But this way you get a very good idea of what can be done, how you can color it. And now with smaller kids, this is a great project for them, they may not have the patience or the time to go through this quite as carefully. So you may just, let's just, from a kid's perspective, they'd probably do something like this. Let's just color all of it and not even worry about going inside the lines so much. But that's okay. If you make this, give this to them to complete before the holidays, they can give it as a gift to somebody. And it's a handmade personal gift from them to somebody they love and care about, which is wonderful. As a mom, I know this is the kind of thing I love and I keep for years and years and years. And you can't really mess it up, okay? So let's just say, oh no, I've gone over the coloring I've already done. That's okay, that's the charm of it. And that's the beauty of it, especially with younger kids, is that they do it from their heart. And the more colors and craziness that goes into it, the more fun for them. And in years to come, when they're older, when you pull this out every holiday, they're like, oh my gosh, you still have this? Of course I do. Of course I do. You made it for me. I love it. So you can see in just like one quick amount of time, we can do almost the whole thing from the little kid's perspective, right? And with each one of these, the pattern's gonna be different. So this is something that they could do year after year. And each time the pattern's going to be different. Or you could get 4 of these for somebody to make and you have 4 different patterns of holiday ornaments. Now it's just a little bit outline and it's just adorable. To finish up these beautiful ornaments, now that you've gotten them from here to here or something in between, you're just going to tie your string into a knot, almost like you would a shoelace, but not with the bunny ears. Just tie it in a simple knot. Then you're going to take the end of it, feed it through the hole at the very top. Now once you have it through, simply pull the thread through and your ornament is ready to hang. It's really that simple. It's really that fun. These projects can take anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour, just depending on how detailed you want to be. And that's just putting the ornament together, but coloring it, that's the fun part too. And you can take, you could take days to figure out the best way for you to go ahead and finish this out. It's a fun project. It's great for kids, for adults. It's great for parties. So if you wanted to have an ornament party where you have your friends to get together and just sit around and shoot the breeze, but at the same time having something to do with your hands, DIY holiday ornaments with the bear monstrella cutout from Treleaf.